Politics, business, sports, arts, music. Mike and Marty on the beat. Mike and Marty. Mike and Marty on the beat. Mike and Marty. Mike and Marty on the beat. Mike and Marty.
Good morning, Bells Falls and Keene, and welcome to the feed. Mike is not with us today, but I have part 2 of the Rockingham Free Public Library. I have Sky Peebles, Program Director, and Ian Graham, the Director, the big overarching director. I know that probably haven't gotten that good of an intro, right?
No, that's the best
Okay,
I've gotten
good.
so far, so thank you.
Quickly with local events, because they have a lot to talk about. The classic movie tonight is The Tenant, which I didn't realize was a Roman Polanski movie.
Right.
So, it's going to be interesting. It's sponsored by Anonymous. That's even more interesting. Someone didn't want to take credit for it. So that's the classic movie. I want to remind everybody, and I'm reminding everybody every week, because I think it's going to be a fantastic show, is Cabaret is coming to the Opera House, the Wild Goose Players production. We have David Stern on some middle of next month, I believe, to give you a little background and insight into the production, and as always, to give you his very unique view of the production. And I always find it enhances my enjoyment of the play to hear the kind of behind the scenes and what he, all the symbolism and things in the play. So that's running April 3rd through April 12th. And then finally, it is that time of year again, and there's plenty of snow for the Sugar on Snow Supper at the Grafton Chapel. It is benefiting the Grafton Historical Society, and we have Mario Hernandez coming in next week to talk a lot more about it. It looks like this year they're doing 2 seatings, and I don't think they did that before. So have you guys ever been to a Sugar on Snow? Me either. I know I'm feeling I gotta turn in my Vermont card because I've never been to one.
We've eaten a lot of it, but I don't think I've ever been to an event.
Yeah, it's pretty. Mario was kind of explaining the kind of intricacies of it and the whole idea, the Sugar on Snow and the pickle and the whole bit. But anyway, I digress.
No, get the pickle background and then fill us in, because
Okay, I will.
always wondered about where the pickle comes from.
Yeah, and so did we last year. So this year I will try to actually remember from year to year what it is. So I think I'm going to start actually with you, Ian, because you talked about I definitely want to get the word out about the forum you have coming up at
Great,
the library.
fantastic. So the library is hosting a candidates forum for candidates for select board. That's happening a week from Saturday, February 21st, from 2:30 to 4 in the top floor meeting room of the library. It's going to be streamed by Fact TV as well, and recorded, of course, so people can watch it later. And it's just really a chance for all of the candidates who have all been invited to, talk about their positions on different issues and have a chance to share what their priorities are for the town and stuff like that. And the room seats 88. We have 88 chairs, so as many people as want to try to get there can. Parking is always kind of the biggest trick for the thing.
Parking, you have to be creative.
You have to be creative with the parking, but we're really looking forward to it, and there are some questions that are pre-planned, but also people who attend or are online can submit questions or ask questions as well. So it's really just a chance for the candidates to share their perspectives, and for residents and voters in town to have a chance to hear what they have to say and maybe ask some questions.
Thank you. I think that's awesome, because sometimes Mike and I will do that type thing, but we've just been kind of busy. So I'm glad that somebody picked that up, and the perfect location too.
Yeah, I think it's really, that room has become more and more active in town, and we really are excited about the kind of quantity and just that kind of so many different types of things happening in the room, from Tai Chi to yoga to candidates forum to meditation and all this stuff.
I think it's I'm always in awe, and I say this every time Sam comes, I'm always in awe of all of the things that you guys do. And that's why in my mind, it required 2 shows worth, because there's so much to make sure that you really get to highlight. So with that being said, do you want to go over a few of the programs, Sky, and then we'll kind of bounce back and forth as things
I'd
go?
love to. Well, Ian was just saying that we have the candidates forum next weekend, but starting basically every single day, we have things in the upstairs meeting room, and we have had a lot of really fun programs on Saturdays this winter because we were lucky enough to get an AARP winter placemaking grant,
Okay.
which is like a program that we've designed around getting together, community, reducing isolation, and just lifelong learning, getting people out of their houses in wintertime and like into the library, and starting in March, like out and about in the community on a lot of different programs. So we this weekend are going to be having yoga, hosted by Martine from Saxon's Yoga on Main and Saxon's River, and we did a yoga class last January. This past January, it was super super popular.
And I think we have a slide to bring up on
We
that.
probably do,
Yeah.
but if we don't, it's yoga.
There we go.
And what's really nice is that we have a library of things at the library. So if you don't have your own yoga mat or your own yoga blocks, I brought one just so you can see. But
Nice.
we have things that you can borrow for the class, and then you can also check them out and take them home. So if yoga becomes the thing that you're really interested in, you can take a yoga mat home, or you can go to other classes in the community. And all the programs we have at the library are, free and open to the public and open to all ages. So that's one program that we have that's part of our winter placemaking grant that we're calling Rockingham Gathers. We also have about an hour after yoga, we have a really neat program by the Vermont Humanities. It's called River Memories with Alan Barrelheiser, and is a program that looks at settlement along rivers and flooding in Vermont, and sort of how the history of settlement has had an impact on the flooding that we've seen recently. And Alan's with the Vermont Historical Society's publishing program, so he's going to come and do an hour-and-a-half program this Saturday afterwards, and that should be really fabulous. So we kind of are constantly finding different ways to bring different topics. People have lots of great ideas. A lot of the things we're doing this winter are ideas that patrons and community members have suggested.
And that's a really pertinent topic with the fact that it seems to be that 1 week in July, 2 years in a row now that we
Absolutely.
exhibit, we get flooding. I mean, we're pretty lucky where we are, but the rest of the state not so much.
And it's interesting. So Vermont Humanities this year, the book that they chose for like their Vermont Reads book was entirely about like climate change. And so these programs, and we have another one coming at the end of February by Dan Knott, who's a Vermont artist and illustrator, author, and he did a graphic novel called Hidden Systems, and it like looks at how electricity and water and all of these pieces of communities work. And he like did a graphic novel about how do they work, and like how do they connect to climate change, social justice. And so he's going to be doing a talk, also sponsored by Vermont Humanities at the library. And actually, I brought his book too. I have so many props.
You do have lots of props.
So here's
You have
Dan's
props
book.
and slides and
Props and slides. But if you're interested in graphic novels and comics, then this will be a great program as well, because not only does he talk about these topics, but how to use comics and graphic novels like in your
And that's-
art.
well, that makes it for a lot of people, like I'm super visual, so like a graphic novel, the way that it's presented is much more visual, and so for me, I understand things better that way.
It's a great medium, and we're seeing a lot of graphic novels. I mean, Sam could probably come and talk about them so much, but like particularly for like young readers and adult readers, I mean, there's just this whole new graphic novel
Interesting.
world. And Dan will be great because he, I think, knows a lot about like the Center for Cartoon Studies probably, and all these Vermont resources. So it'll be really fun. So those are two of our upcoming programs, and we also will have a huge lineup throughout March. We have snowshoeing coming. We have sourdough
Do you
bread
have
making.
snowshoes?
I brought
Speaking of
snowshoes. Here,
snowshoes,
you should hold
let's
one.
go back to library
Yes,
of things.
These are library. So our library, and if for folks
These
who
are
don't
some.
know, do you want to hold one too?
I'd be happy to.
Please.
Hold one,
So for
absolutely.
folks,
That's fun.
they're really fun. And a library of things I realize folks might not know about. So these are non-traditional objects that you can check out of the library. So we have tons of books at the library. And so our library of things just adds to the things that community members can borrow from our library. Things like snowshoes. We have, exercise equipment
Yoga
like
block.
yoga blocks,
Block
yoga
right
mats, cooking equipment. We have, like this winter, we had a lot of bakers who were checking out cool bunt pans and things shaped like Yule logs. donut pans, we have bread makers, we have a whole seed library. So we're constantly, I think, thinking about ways we can add to our already, huge and wonderful collection to.
And I know you presented to the Rotary, and you were talking about like that particular day you had a sewing machine with you.
We did. They're checked. The sewing machines are checked out right now, which is why I don't have sewing machines.
And they're heavy.
And they're heavy, but they're great because individuals. We have clubs and 4-H groups who check them out. Community centers, so these are objects people can use in lots of different ways.
Well, it's kind of one of those things, especially I guess the sewing machine hit like. Not that I'm really inclined personally, but for the average person that might need to sew a little bit, they probably aren't going to go out and buy a machine. So they don't do the sewing projects or whatever. So now there's like no excuse. And I just think can we back up a little bit and talk about how did the idea for Library of Things come about?
So I think what happened, it's sort of a marriage of different pieces, and Ian, you chime in too. But
Sure.
So at some point, a couple of years ago, I remember that Vermont State Parks was circulating a list of libraries that had snowshoes that people could check out. And then I remember conversations like, we could have snowshoes. Like that would be a really neat thing because Rockingham has so many beautiful places to explore. And snowshoes are like pretty mellow in terms of maintenance. Like there's Velcro.
I was gonna say these look super mellow.
This is like a Croc. It's basically a Croc with Velcro. They're really lightweight.
A giant
Very
Velcro.
Really cool. And so I feel like that, and then we sort of started, I think, noodling around the idea of what that might look like. And Ian, I'll let you jump in.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there were other libraries that had started to establish these kinds of things, and so libraries like ours were paying attention and thinking about strategically, how could we test some of these waters and stuff like that. At the same time, I was trying to do two things with, thankfully, the library staff understanding and agreeing, which was not ask the town for more money. And also increase our book buying budgets because I thought they hadn't kept up quite as much as we wanted them to. And so, it wasn't as if there was big buckets of cash sitting around to buy snowshoes with and stuff. So instead, we had to really think about, how to shape this and move it forward. And the first group that really invested in it was the Friends of the Library. So they're fabulous for a million reasons. And in this case, fabulous because they saw the value of doing it and put some of their money on the line to test it out, which gave us some, data, some feedback on how it was all working. So that was fantastic. And then that led to, they really are in the forefront of like, let's try something different and see if that works. And my mind is like, if 30% of the libraries in Vermont are doing something, we should be thinking about doing it. Doesn't mean we should,
Right.
but we're almost never, occasionally, right on the bleeding edge of it all. But we want to be on the front end of it if it looks like things are working. The Seed Library was a really good example of that, and that was one where I was like, it's about 30%. But that was grant funded. So that's the other thing is that the friends are often the ones that are like, contributing and supporting this stuff. But then we didn't want to start tying their funding into long-term things because we like to have them be part of our kind of, let's see what happens. So then we built on that because we had established, some success with this. We went out, and by we, I mean other people than me, thankfully, although I've often signed pieces of paper, but to get grants, and we've gotten a few of them now. Got one to get the Bibliobike a few years ago, which was a smashing success.
Yeah,
and then
that's
since
amazing.
then, I know that has given us a lot of kind of leeway because people see that we're being ambitious and creative.
And relevant.
And relevant.
I think there's still a little bit of a general out there feeling like, oh, libraries, what do they do now, right?
Right.
Because I can read online, I can do all this stuff. But
Yeah.
so you've had to pivot and you are 100% staying relevant.
Well, I think I appreciate that. That's, when you're in the bubble, you're like, hoping that's what the feedback, is and will be. But also, I was doing statistics for the town report for the last fiscal year and discovered that we had checked out 10% more books than we had in the years leading up to it. So what we're seeing is, I think, increased relevance kind of across the board. And so the use of the meeting room is increasing. The use of the youth activity room is increasing. The use of the collection itself is increasing. The use of these things is increasing.
We don't really have, I mean, if you think about it, we don't really have a community center here in town. I
Well, we
mean,
do.
really,
It's just
like,
called the library.
I was gonna say, well, that's what I was gonna say. Well, so that you and
Sorry, I
Mom
just couldn't.
couldn't resist. We didn't even plan that ahead of time. But so yeah, you filled that niche of the old, the old type community meeting hall and community
I
center.
think just guys, I'm going to just say one more thing and then but one of the things that's happened that got cooked up is it's really kind of two things. One is a game day, board game cafe it's
Board
called,
games, yes.
and puzzle thing. And those are like, the community comes in, we're not putting the puzzles together for them. We're not like refereeing the games for them. We're buying donuts. And it's usually the
You
friends.
donuts.
And well, when we have games,
Or
we usually
AARP
do.
Vermont, exactly.
And so that feels to me of everything the most community minded thing, because it's just the space and the tables and
Yeah.
stuff. We're not bringing someone in for Vermont Humanities for that stuff. It's entirely community kind of focus.
And it's been so much fun to see how enthusiastic the community is about coming in, and particularly Saturdays, because winter is long. It is like dark and cold. And this
You
winter was
think?
like we're earning our spring. And so it's been so joyful to see, like on a Saturday morning, we like set up whatever program we're doing for our Rockingham gathers. And Ian said we've had board game cafes. We had a solstice puzzle palooza, which
Yes,
is like
that's right.
twinkly lights and like flameless, like twinkly candle light things, and like donuts and cider and puzzles and like puzzles about winter and light. And it's just been so great to see folks come in, and some folks like come in groups or come by themselves and just sit and have a table and have like a cup of coffee and a donut, and just say like it's so nice to have a place to
Connection.
be together.
Connection,
And that
that's
is
the
like what our
key.
hokey pokey's about, like just really building that and offering that space. And then while folks are there checking out books, like meeting people, just like seeing what else is going on. And it's very intergenerational. We have like tiny little toddlers running around, and we have folks across the whole lifespan, and it just is like people doing things together. It's really neat. It's been a real highlight of my winter, like personally.
That's really cool.
And it's been, I think, just really fun. So on Saturdays you should come by, donuts, but also, and warmth, because we're also like, we're a heating shelter in the
I was gonna say,
winter,
well, there's that too,
and
because
cooling center in the summer. And
yeah.
that's a big deal, having
it's a big deal.
the
Place where
space.
someone can go and get just a little bit warmed up, and
It's wonderful. It's just been it's been great.
And sort of, I think we've just been moving in this direction pretty organically, because we added an extra hour to Saturdays months ago. I think it was a year ago we added that extra hour on Saturdays, and then that sort of opened it up so that when we started planning these things, we had all this room and time to do them in. And when Sky was putting together the proposal for the AARP Vermont grants called Rockingham Gathers, and the idea was about gathering people together. And they were, AARP was really enthusiastic about it, obviously. We've had some great conversations with them. And then, I don't know if you noticed, but it's been really cold this winter. And we're like, can we get
I
people
have a little hint about that.
Yeah, it's been on the
other day.
news,
I don't know.
So
I had to wear a hat one day, so that
yeah,
means it's
and
really
that's always a
cold.
sign,
Yeah.
right? So I know I saw some teenagers like actually wearing sweatshirts and stuff.
Never-
It must be
like,
outrageous
yeah,
cold.
they
out.
have- they have-
To the
yeah.
neck.
So we were like, well, this will be interesting, because will people be, and way more people than we expected under any circumstances have taken part.
We did a plant propagation workshop a couple of weeks ago, like an event where we had plant clippings and people could come. This was one of our Rockingham gathers, and we had jars and moss, and people could just make like a little jar for like a plant clipping that in the spring when it grows roots, you can plant in soil. So we had a bunch of donated, and it was like -3 out. And I was just sitting there with all these little tiny baby plants, and I was like, oh, this is like not the most hospitable environment. But it was amazing. So many folks came, and it was so fun. And people were like pulling tiny plants they brought out of their like well-insulated pockets. And it was just really,
Yeah, because
you
there were some challenges.
it was not like the great, but it was it was so nice to see greenery and sunlight on like a very, very cold day. So it
Is
was
there
great.
is there a master list somewhere of the items that you have in the library of things?
Oh, it's a
for
great
people to
question.
check out.
We are in the middle of populating a So the library word would be catalog, but
Okay.
like the list will be basically when you go online.
Like a Dewey Decimal System for the library of things,
You
kind
got
of.
it.
I'm dating myself now
No,
with
it's
that.
it's
Dewey
even
Decimal System.
simpler. It's great. It's almost like you would go. So you'll go on our website the way you normally would, and you'll basically.
And I
You'll,
think we have a screenshot
oh
of
yeah,
your
so
website.
yeah.
Whoops.
So there's our homepage,
Yeah.
and so you'll find a link on there, and it'll say like library of things, and what you'll be able to do is look through by category. So like like sporting goods, outdoor equipment, cooking, gardening, and you'll be able to sort through it and then see descriptions, pictures of what we have. And then what will be great is this system allows you to reserve things in advance.
Oh, nice.
So for example, if like I am going to the Northeast Kingdom in February for a weekend and I'm bringing my grandkids and I want us to have 6 pairs of snowshoes, you could go online in December and reserve the snowshoes. And that way, and that's not something you can do with books.
Right, right.
Generally speaking, it's like if you can put it on hold, but you can't say, I am going in April to a beach and I really want to have this beach
Dang,
read.
I wish you could do that. But
I mean,
no.
you could. I mean, there's
Be a-
ways you can make that
Yeah,
happen, but that's not how. But this is nice because our new system will be set up to allow you to do that, which is a different.
Do you have a mechanism that people, like if people wanted to know on a regular level about all the things that were going on?
We do. We have
What-
a
what would be that-
newsletter.
what would be that
And
mechanism?
Sam does an amazing job with our socials. So I know we have Facebook and we have Instagram, and I think YouTube as well. But our newsletter, which you can get to if you go to our website, rockinghamlibrary.org, and then you scroll to the bottom, there's a little
It's a little.
white
There
box,
it
and you
is.
can put in your email. There's 2 boxes to put your email in. The one in the middle will allow you to get a little digest of all of our new books and DVDs that are coming in, which is great. And I highly recommend that because we're constantly getting new books in, and it's just so much fun. And then on the right, you'll see the sign in for a newsletter, and you'll get a little email. Do you really want this? So you have a chance to,
You
back
could
out.
back out, but
You're
I don't
not
recommend
committed.
it. I don't recommend
But
it.
it's great. So we send out at least a monthly newsletter at the beginning of every month, and then sometimes little highlight blips.
Nice.
And they are, I would say, long and full of information that's fun. So
And you also have one more tool
I
that people
do.
can go to.
We have a calendar, and it's great because it's on our website. So if you go under programs, you click calendar, and I just wanted to highlight that because at any given time on our homepage, we have plugs for our real upcoming programs and ongoing. But if you wanted to sort of see day to day and week to week what our ongoing offerings at the library are, the calendar is a great place to look.
Awesome.
So thank you for showing
So
that. You have to know.
I have to know.
You have to know
I
why.
I have to
why?
know
Why are we?
what this is. 'Cause
Okay.
we can't run out of time and not get to what we have going on.
Okay, so this is called Blind Date with a Book, and it's Valentine's Day this Saturday. So in addition to coming to the library for a river presentation and yoga, this whole rest of the month when you come into the library, you'll see a table that says Blind Date with a Book. And what you can do is if you don't know what you want to read next, you can go over to the table and find one of these very beautiful little wrapped books, and it has a candy on it for added benefit. And you will find basically it just says, for example, this says A Secret College for Magic. And that's all you get. You can just, and every book has a little description, but like a teaser. You can check it out and take it home and see what you think.
That's a great way. I think I know personally I get stuck like reading the same authors all the time.
Yeah.
Like waiting for the next book to come out. And then I have a certain genre. And then every once in a while I go outside my realm of comfort and like someone recommends one or something like that. I'm like, oh, I'll just read it. And then it ends up being like another great author that I have another author in my repertoire. And
It's so
I think this is a great
we
idea.
picked out Susan and went and picked, and I did a couple of, mostly I'm going to give Susan credit because she picked like a fabulous lineup of books, like super fun, super great, sort of
Stacks and stacks.
stacks. There's so many of them. So this is a great on-road because you go into the collection and we have so many amazing books, but sometimes it's hard to know where to start. So this is a great
Like
place.
Otomo.
So if you come into the lobby, you'll be able to go on a blind date with a book. So that's
is
what these are.
awesome. That is awesome. Well, we are down to a minute. So you have something, we're just going to give a
Yeah.
quick tease because maybe we'll have you on to talk more in depth about it closer to the actual event and take some pictures or something.
Yeah, so I did want to mention that from about June 10th until the end of July, there'll be a traveling Smithsonian exhibition that'll be on the top floor of the library. It is going to impact our use of the
That's okay.
top floor, but we think it's worth it. So this is part of a Smithsonian program called Museums on Main Street, where they package these things up and roll them around the country. And there are 3 sites in Vermont and 3 in New Hampshire that this one will be visiting. We're the first one,
Awesome.
which is great. It means the Smithsonian actually helps us set it up. And also, we'll have it on the 250th anniversary of the 4th of July. My
Oh,
goal is to
great.
keep the library open 7 days a week while it's here. Not the library itself, but at least access to the building to get on Sundays to the top floor. And it really sounds fabulous. The topic is, the title is Spark, and it's about rural innovation. So I think it's highly relevant to, Bellows Falls and Rockingham and the area, given its history and all that. So we're really excited about it. I think it's a fabulous opportunity.
Awesome.
It's a few months away, so I'm happy to talk about it more
Yes,
as
when
time
and
passes.
so there's all the information for the Rockingham Library, and we are officially out of time. So we'll say bye, community.
Thanks, Marty.
Thank you.
Mike and Marty on the beat. Mike and